Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called The Curb Did It, written by The Cursor Hasn't Moved. It was a sweltering December day in the city of Los Angeles Duover, which was a consequence of the original colony ship landing in the wrong spot after California retry had been terraformed.
What's terraforming, Dad?
Oh, that's when the Terrans call planet editing. Anyway, like I was saying, it was hot.
I thought you said that it was sweltering, dear.
Stop interrupting the story and stop making fun of me. I can talk poetical sometimes, just let me tell the story. The Grey Whiskers said as he laid his ears back and it whacked his rudder tail against the floor in irritation.
Please, Father, I'm sorry. Please, keep going.
Where was I?
Hot.
Yes. It was hot out, and from the movies I had thought the December was supposed to be the winter period in the territories, which was silly of me because, of course, it would depend on where on the planet I was. But the music playing over the speakers in the downtown streets were often about snow, which was annoying since it was so ancestors taken hot out, and we were in our duty uniforms. It was me, Armstrong, Kamen, and Corporal Iwasaki. We called the corporal Doc. Oh, Doc was a big kitty, but the other two are humans. The Terrans don't seem to really notice what race you are, but it helps you picture it in your mind. So, why were we walking around in the heat downtown with irritating songs about snow playing over the public speakers? Well, there is a tradition that goes a long way back to before the humans left Terra. So, they have this religious festival they hold every year. But a lot of people who aren't part of their religion have adopted some of the festivities. There are songs, decoration, feasting, and gift-giving, so not too different from Tibbs Day, but a lot more intense. Because Terrans, the relevant part of to why we were suffering in the city-sized sauna is the giving of gifts. Amongst adults, the tradition is to give each other something thoughtful, if you can afford, or even a small gesture as a sign of friendship or familial love. But for pups, there is a tradition of attributing the gifts to magic. I don't know why, but that's just the way of it is. Now, as wealthy as the Republic is, that doesn't mean that there aren't people there going through hard times, which is where another tradition comes from. There is a tradition there in the RNI running donation drives for toys to give to the pups of people in hard times, so that they don't miss out on the magic. Apparently, this tradition goes back to one of their on-planet nation states, something about a ship soldier's wife ordering her husband to deliver some toys to a charitable organization, and then further ordering to make such an organization when he reported back to her that there was not one already. I'm a bit fuzzy on the details, but the tradition has persisted officially and unofficially ever since. Even after the nation collapsed, or was it split? Again, I'm fuzzy on the details. So, what's that So that's what we were up to, collecting toys to be the magic to the Terran pups for the winter religious festival. And it was hot, and the bags of toys were heavy, and we had been ordered by the LT to be cheerful, so naturally, we really just wish somebody would start something.
But they're so friendly, Father.
And adorable. They think they're adorable, you know, the old man said with a disgruntled huff. Now, like I was saying, we were just waiting to burst the dam and flood right over someone who had it coming. Little known to us, there was someone who had it coming. This parch-brained gene-jack of a Jakku had gotten himself a heavy world adaptation package, and for some reason thought that it would be a good idea to rob Terran convenience stores. Ancestors' wisdom, I don't know why, after what the report did on that one planet that one time, but maybe this one got dropped on its head as a hatchling. It did not go well for him, but we didn't know that. All we knew was that there was a Jakku running out of a corner store, and the shopkeeper came out seconds later with a gash on her arm yelling for someone to stop that thief. Well, we were moving to intercept, except for Doc, who was talking to a human pup about the festival, when the genius decided that he'd run through us and plant a knife into Doc's shoulder, which was a very bad idea, because that caused the thief to lose balance and fall off the curb and into the street. Now, I'm not saying that stabbing the team leader, who is also a doctor, is a really great way to get R&I to forget any and all regs about excessive force, but I am saying that he hit that pavement so hard that he broke both kneecaps, both ankles, elbows, and all of his fingers, several broken ribs, and somehow lost his tail and got a collection of contusions. Do you really expect us to believe that it was the curb that did all of that, Father? Well, the police sure did, and wouldn't you know it, the surveillance camera for all of the stores had malfunctioned for 5 minutes. It took him to fall on the pavement. Why were you telling this story? Because I saw your application to go study in the Republic, and I have some advice. Make friends with at least one R&I vet. If anyone messes with you, the curb will do them too. End of story. Story number 2. Even in Death, written by teller of tall tales. The entrenched machine gun spit lead down on Dobral's comrades, the narrow street serving as a fatal funnel. The Grovac had been assaulting the human-held city for weeks now, and the resistance they faced was intense. The humans fought for their city with tooth and claw. Dobral's current situation was an example of that. By the divine! The foot soldier cried out as a machine gun fire stitched the ground behind him, and he took cover behind an overturned APC. The other foot soldiers continued to fire pot shots at the fortified balcony, giving him cover. Dobral could swear he saw a few tracers slam into a small cubbyhole around the machine gun's muzzle flash, but the heavy ballistic rounds kept coming. It was terrifying. What kind of a mortal monstrosity was up there? Dobral heard a lull in the human machine guns firing and darted out from behind the overturned APC and darted for a row of blasted concrete barricades. No machine gun fire followed him at this time, and he breathed a sigh of relief when it started again. Plumes of dust rising where the rounds impacted the other foot soldiers' cover. Taking the initiative, Dobral ran out from behind cover and booked it for the doors beneath the balcony, bursting through by using his shoulder as a battering ram. Locating the stairwell, he cautiously made his way upwards, noting the empty casings and magazines that littered the steps. Raising his Gauss rifle, Dobral stepped onto the second floor landing and nudged the ajar door open. The hallway was empty, pristine, but the smell of blood and sulfur hung in the air. The racket of the machine gun loud even through Dobral's headset as he crept towards the open door. Taking a deep breath, Dobral swung into the doorway and froze. The human knelt in a pool of their own blood, throat torn open by a Gauss slug, but they still moved. The machine gun ran dry, and the lifeless soldier reached for an empty bolt box, groping blindly for a moment before they stopped, looked at their hand, and then slowly kneeled over to the side with an eerie silence. Dobral cautiously moved forward, switching to thermals and scanning the body. He felt his heartbeat quicken as his display informed him the body was almost room temperature. Dobral poked the body's arm with the Gauss rifle's muzzle. It moved easily. Dobral heard his squad mates calling his name, and he returned to leave the room. But something stopped him from taking his eyes off the dead man. He could have sworn he'd seen those lifeless eyes flick towards him. Shaking his head clear, he left the room. Throughout his deployment, Dobral witnessed these strange events almost weekly. The foot soldier would nail a human in the head with a Gauss slug and storm their position, only to round the corner and be staring down the barrel of that human's rifle. Room temperature corpses would seemingly only relax their grip on their primed grenades when his men passed them. These events had Dobral constantly on edge, double and triple taking at human corpses when he thought he saw their eyes move or their fingers twitch. When they were finally able to take a human warrior alive, Dobral had to know if the humans had some secret drug that allowed them to fight from beyond the veil, even if it killed him. The grizzled human softly stared into Dobral's 4 bloodshot eyes, puffing on a cigarette. Dobral had asked the question minutes ago, but the human still hadn't replied. He was about to ask again when the human finally spoke. "You're telling me you think that we have some kind of super serum that allows us to fight even when we're dead?" Dobral nodded. The human just laughed and extinguished their cigarette, much to Dobral's chagrin. But the human continued talking, leaving Dobril hanging off every word. No, there is no serum or drug or anything like that. No, it is far worse. You see, your people attacked a city with mostly civilian population. So you're not just fighting humans here. The human chuckled darkly, long hair falling in front of their eyes as they leaned ominously forward. You're fighting the spite that lives in every human's heart. Yes, you may kill a man. You may kill a man quite easily. But spite, anger, hatred, these things are unkillable. You may kill their host, drain it of its lifeblood, and leave it to cool on the pavement. But you can't kill the spite with bullets. You can't murder anger with a knife. And you most certainly can't burn away the hatred, no matter how intense a fire you use. Because the human leaned across the table and grabbed Dobril by the shirt, about to scream something in his face. But Dobril, already jumpy, drew his blaster and fired a bolt into the human's chin, sending them reeling back as he stood and pressed himself against the wall. But the corpse wasn't done speaking yet, as blood poured from its mouth, its voice ghastly and gargling. Even in death we serve. Dobril watched horrified as a silvery ring fell out of the human's hand and slowly looked down at the red, blinking indicator on the death spheres attached to his utility webbing. The door whooshed open as Dobril's security detail burst into the room. No, was all he could whimper before his world turned white. End of story. I would quickly like to thank our Tier 5 patrons, Dragzoon WRE, Quantum Wednesday, Ambrose Cattell, Lord Ashrakal, Bushmaster 177, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, and Arcadian. Thank you very much.